Hello, welcome to Darasa Online. My name is Mr. Kileo Abubakar Davidson. I am a geography teacher. Today we are going to learn about simple survey and map making, and we will focus more on its subtopic of leveling procedures. Okay, what is leveling? Leveling refers to the type of survey method which aim is to determine the elevation between points on the ground. The aim of leveling survey is to check the difference in height, normally from the fixed point or known point from the mean sea level. So the point is the aim, the actual aim, or the aim of doing what we call the leveling survey is to determine the exact height of elevation between different points on the ground. So we have the main equipment used in leveling. That's why we call it a leveling survey. See, like the other type of survey, we may call it, for instance, a plane table survey because it uses a plane table as its main instrument, or we may call it type of survey maybe the chain or tape survey. Why? Because it uses chain or tape measure, see, as its main equipment. So in our today's lesson, we call it leveling survey because it uses leveling stuff as its main instrument. So let's see some of the equipment used in leveling. Used in leveling. See, one is leveling stuff. As I said, we call it the leveling survey because we use the leveling stuff as the main equips. So what is leveling stuff? Leveling stuff will refer to the metal-made stuff of either 4 meter to 4.5 meter long. It is a stuff like this one, as you can see in my image right here. We have what we call the leveling stuff. As you can see, we have a person. This man is holding the leveling stuff. So metal-made stuff of either 4 meter to 4.5 meter long, and it is got colored and graduated at equal interval in either millimeter, centimeter, or feet. This stuff we call it the leveling stuff. We have the other instrument called the spirit level. For instance, this one, as you can see right here, it can be either the Mapitio tube or the theodolite. This is what we call the leveling instrument, and we have the leveling stuff over there. So the point is, we use the stuff and the spirit level as the main instrument. We use the leveling stuff as the main instrument, and the other instrument which we maybe use it more, or we need it as much as we needed the leveling stuff in calculating the height during leveling. We need this one. We call it the spirit level. Example spirit level, as I said, we have the Mapitio tube or the theodolite. So let's see what are the uses of these two main instruments right here. We normally use this one, the theodolite or the spirit level, to take the readings from the leveling stuff. And then we use the leveling stuff to give out the readings, see, so that they can be taken by the spirit level. So we said we use leveling stuff, or the usage of the leveling stuff is to produce the readings, either the backside or the foresight reading, while the usage of the spirit level is to read the readings to the or from the leveling stuff. As you can see, let me illustrate right here. It means we have the leveling stuff. As I said, this is the metal stuff made. It is graduated and painted color at equal interval. So let's say this one, it is our leveling stuff. See right here, let us assume this it is a ground. Then we may find right here we have what we call the tripod stand. The tripod stand, it holds what we call the spirit level, the leveling instrument. So if we need to determine or to identify, let's say this point here, point A, is it rise or fall, it means we have to use the two equips. We have to use the stuff, leveling stuff, this one, the leveling stuff, as well as the spirit level or the leveling instrument, this one, spirit level or the leveling instrument. It means this one, it goes the length as well as the eyepiece right here. It goes the eyepiece, you see, and it goes what? The lens to focus the object, the readings to this leveling stuff. So the usage of this spirit level, it means it is to read the reading from the leveling stuff. While the use of this leveling stuff is to give the readings to the spirit level. So we said we have the leveling stuff as the spirit level. So the use of the leveling stuff, it means used to produce the readings. What type of readings am I talking about right here? I'm talking about either the backside and the foresight reading. The backside or the foresight readings. Are we together? Then from there, after getting the backside or the foresight reading, it means we can be able to identify the elevation between the 2 points on the ground or more points on the ground. Are we together? So I insist this, it is the instrument for taking the reading right here, while this, the leveling stuff, it gives out the readings, either the backside or the foresight readings. Then from there we have this one, the tripod stand. It means the tripod stand, it is a metal made stand with 3 feet, as you can see. This one, it is used to hold the spirit level to a required position or height during leveling surveying. Then from there, I can explain something which is very important. You have to make sure during leveling procedure, you have to make sure, or we need the following. In doing leveling, we need 2 very important things. First, in readings or taking the measurement, we normally start from the datum point. You see, from the datum point. Either the datum point, it is a point which gives the base of the measurement, normally from the mean sea level, normally from the known point on the ground from the mean sea level. Then this one, we call it the datum point. So it is a point which gives us the base for our measurement during leveling, and it is started from the known point where from the mean sea level, and we call it the datum line or the datum point. Then from there, so in taking the measurement, you must determine or you must know what we call the fixed point reading on the ground. Fixed point reading on the ground. Reading on the what? On the ground. And these fixed point readings on the ground, they are shown by either we may use, or they may use benchmark. You see, either trigonometrical stations, or sometimes spot height. You see, to show the elevation from the mean sea level. So from this point, as I said, it's very important to make sure we have the datum points from the mean sea level, as well as you have to find where there is benchmark, either trigonometrical station or spot height, so that you can check your leveling stuff. You can put on top of the datum points, then you can start your measurement from there. Then you can be able to find the points or the elevation you want from different points on the ground. As I said, let's say, for instance, let me explain. You see, let's assume this is our ground. Then we have the sea over there, as you can see right here. You see, it is a sea. Then let's say this point right here. Let's say this is point A. It is 100 meters, as it said, from the mean sea level. Then you want to determine this point here, the elevation of point B. It means first you have to determine the datum point. Then point A will be our datum points. Then from there you have to take your leveling stuff. See, then you will put on top of your datum points, which will be shown by either benchmark or trigonometric station. Then from there it means you'll have to take, let's say at this point B there is another leveling stuff right here. Then you have to take what? Your spirit level right now. Thereafter you'll read the point, this one. This you call it your backside. Then you take the reading to this side. This you call your foresight. Then from this point you'll be able to determine height of point B from point A by using what? The leveling stuff as well as the spirit level. So later we will see how to find the position of point B in terms of its height by considering what we call the datum point with the help of the what? The leveling stuff as well what? The spirit level. So from there, let's see the method of calculating height during leveling survey procedures. It means method of calculating height, methods of calculating height. See, from the leveling survey, it means we have the rise and fall methods as well as the collimation method. So listen to me very carefully, student, please. We have two methods of calculating the height of elevation between two or more points on the ground. So we have the rise and fall method as well as the collimation method. Then after understanding these two methods, we will see how to put data in the what we call the leveling booking sheet. Thereafter, we will discuss the advantages and the disadvantage of leveling survey. Then we will see some model or some model sample question asking in relating to what? To leveling survey. Then let's see the rise and fall method in surveying. How are we going to calculate the height by using the rise and fall methods? Okay, let's see the first method, the rise and fall method. The rise and fall methods. So they said in rise and fall method, in order to determine or to identify the elevations between 2 points, we take the difference. We take the difference between the foresight and the backside. See? We take the difference between foresight and backside. Then they say if the difference is positive, then it indicates there is rise. You see? So in this method, it means if we want to take or to know if there is rise or fall between the 2 points, we have to take the difference between foresight reading and the backside reading. Then they say if the difference is positive, then it indicates there is rise between the 2 points. But if the difference is negative, it means then it indicates there is fall between the 2 points. Are we clear? It means if we use the rise and fall method in determining or identifying the elevation between the 2 points, sometimes we may be asked to check if there is rise or fall between the 2 points. Which point is rise and which point is fall? It means we take the difference between the foresight and the backside. Then if the difference is positive, then it indicates rise, and if the difference is negative, then it indicates what? The fall. Let's see an example right here. See? Example 1. It means sometimes we may be given the elevation between the 2 points. Let's take point A and point B. You see, we have point A. This is 100 meters from the mean sea level. Then we want to know the elevation of point B. See, let's say this is X. Then from there, we have what we call the leveling stuff. The spirit level between the leveling stuff. See, then let's say right here it is read 10, and right there it read 8. You see, and let's say right now the question asks check if there is rise or fall. Check if there is rise or fall between point A and B. This is the first question. The second question, let's say this is our first question. Okay, let's say this one is our first question, this one. Then the second question asks which point is rise and which point fall. Listen to me very carefully. It means sometimes we may use rise and fall. I mean, we use the rise and fall method to determine the elevation between the 2 points. We have point A and we have point B. Then we want to know, we have the elevation of point A, and we have the instrument readings. We have the backside right here, which is 10, and we have the foresight right here, which is 8. So the question asked, check if there is rise or fall between point A and B. So by referring to our method, it means to check if there is rise or fall between the 2 points, we take the difference between the foresight and backside. It means from there, it means solution, it means we take foresight minus backside reading. You see, we take foresight minus backside reading. We have the foresight is 8 minus backside reading, which is 10, as you can see right here. It means this one minus this one, you get negative what? Negative 2. So as you can see, the difference is negative. You see? So by referring to our method, it said if the difference is negative, then it indicates there is what? There is fall. So we have answered the first question, that check if there is rise or fall between the 2 points. It means there is fall between the 2 points. Why? Because we have taken the difference between foresight and backside, and it gives us the negative 2. So we are looking at the sign there. The sign is negative. Then we say, then there is a fall. There is a fall between point A and B. There is a fall between point A and point B. There is a fall between point A and point B. Why? Because we have taken the difference between the foresight minus the backside. So if we take 8 minus 10, we have obtained there, we have get negative 2. As the method explained that if the difference is negative, then there is a fall between the 2 points. And the question asked, check if there is rise or fall between the 2 points. It means right now there is a fall between point A and point B. Then the second question asked, which point is rise and which point is fall. It means we take the difference plus the fixed point reading on the ground. So we have the data. The datum point is 100. It means we take the difference plus the datum points. This is our datum point. This is our fixed point reading on the ground. It means to know which point is rise and which point is fall, it means we take the fixed point reading plus the difference. See? So the second question, it means we will take the fixed point readings plus the difference. See? So the fixed point reading on the ground, it is 100. You see? 100. This is our fixed point reading plus the difference. The difference is minus 2. You see? And remember, the fixed point reading is of point A. And right now we want to know the second point, point B. You see? So to know the readings of point B, it means we take the fixed point reading plus the difference. Then we will get is equal to 90-80 meter, because if like this one plus this one is equal to 90-80 meter. It means right now this one is point B. So as the question asks which point is rise and which point is fall, then you can conclude by saying point A is rise, you see, while point B is what? Is fall, as you can see. This is 98, this is 100. Then from there, sometimes students may be given a question similar to this with different diagram. So make sure you do the mathematics and you follow the rules of by referring to the formula or the first method as the way it explained. Do not see or look at the diagram and say, oh, maybe this point is rise or this point is fall. For instance, let's say you may be given this. You may be given a very simple question. So you have to use the formula. Example 2. Example 2. Check if there is rise or fall between point A and B. Check if there is rise or fall. Then which point? Which point rise and which point fall? See, which point rise and which point fall? Let's take this one as the first question, this one is the second question. Then let's say we have our diagram, this one. See, tap, like this one. Then we have the staff reading, the leveling staff. Then we have another leveling staff there. This is point A, let's say is 80 meter. Then we have, let's say point B, Y, see? Then we have the leveling instrument right here. It read maybe 10, and right here it read maybe, no, let's take here it read maybe 12, and here 10, see? So by looking right here in our diagram, the question asks, check if there is rise or fall between point A and point B. We have point A, we have point B. Check if there is rise or fall between point A and point B. Which point rise and which point is fall? So we have to check which point is rise and which point is fall. So remember, we do not look on how we drew or drawn the diagram. It means we have to do the calculation. Remember, this is survey, and we normally do the calculation by applying the method, see? So because sometimes a student may say, as you can, observe or look carefully at the diagram, right here, this point A, it is on the right side, while this point B is on the following side, see? Sometimes you may get it wrong. So you have to make sure you calculate by using the formula as we have applied before. So it means to check if there is rise or fall between point A and point B, then you take the foresight minus the backside. Are we together? This is backside, this is foresight. So the difference between the foresight and the backside, it will tell you which point. So if there is rise or fall between point A and point B. So, the first question, it means we have the foresight, which is 10. It means foresight minus the backside. So it means you take 10 minus 12. It means you get is equal to -2. So it means because it is negative, then we say there is what? There is a fall. There is a fall between point A and point B, as I have explained earlier. Then we go which point is rise and which point is fall. It means you have to take the difference plus the fixed point reading given on the ground. It means we have the fixed point reading given. You see, that is the second question. To know which point rise and which point fall, we have to take the fixed point reading on the ground plus the difference. The fixed point reading on the ground is 80, see, plus the difference, which is -2. Then you get is equal to 70-80 meter. So because this, it was given as point A, and this one, it is point B. So you say point B there is fall, while point A there is what? There is rise. So you have to make sure you calculate, because sometimes they may make the opposite of the diagram that I have drawn right here. Are we together? So do not look on how the diagram was drawn. See, you have to make sure you use the formula given to calculate by following the procedure as I did before. Then from here, this is how we can calculate the elevation between the 2 points normally by using what we call the rise and fall method. So let's go to the second method, as I've explained earlier, that there is what we call the collimation methods. Okay, so as I've said that this is our second method, and we call it the collimation method. So it's the collimation method. It's also called the instrument height methods, which is used to determine the elevation of more than 2 points. It means we use the collimation methods to determine the elevation of more than 2 points. We have seen in rise and fall in the earlier method, we use it to determine the elevation between 2 points normally. But in the collimation method or the instrument height method, we normally use it to calculation the elevation of more than 2 points. You can have 3, etc., etc. So let's see how are we going to use the collimation method to calculate the elevation of different points. By applying the following method, we have to know different concepts regarding the diagram that will be given. Okay, so let's take an example. See, we will have the first leveling stuff. For instance, let's say this is as a land. Then we will have point A. As I said, this will be our datum point right here. Let's say we have given 100 meters from the mean sea level. Then we'll have another, or you'll see the second leveling stuff. Let's say this is point B altogether. Then you'll see another leveling stuff, you see. Then thereafter you'll see the leveling, and leveling instrument right here. Then you may be seeing another leveling stuff, etc., etc. Then you'll see another what? Instrument level, etc., like this. And we have different points. C, this is D, this is E, and this is F. Listen to me very careful. And sometimes you found that you have just given this one point as a known point. So how are you going to determine the elevation of B, C, D, E, and F? It means if you want to determine the elevation of B, C, D, E, and point F, you have to use what to call the height instrument, the instrument height method or the collimation method. You must find what to call the height of collimation. Then after getting what to call the height of collimation, then you will deduct the staff reading of each point to get the reduced level of the station. Are we together? It means first you have to get or to find what we call the height of collimation. Then after obtaining what we call the height of collimation, you have to deduct, to subtract the staff reading of each point, so as to get the station readings of each leg. So let's see, for instance, right here we have level. The fixed point reading on the ground, it is 100. Then let's say it is a spirit level. See, reading different stuff as you can see right now. It means because they were starting to measure the first leveling stuff at point A. Let's say right here it is 8 together. Then we go, let's say here it is 5. Let's say here it is 6. See, let's say they have 7. They have maybe 9. You see, etc. Maybe 10. You go 11. Then they want you to determine the elevation between point B, C, D, E, and F. Then how are we going to know the elevation of these legs? It means it's very simple. First, you have to find what we call the collimation height, or the height of collimation. How are you going to find the height of collimation? It means you have to take the instrument reading plus the fixed point reading on the ground. Then let me explain mathematically. It means to get the height of collimation from there, to get what calls the height of collimation, the height of collimation. So let me insist on how to find the elevation between points, as I've said, by using the collimation method. It means first we have to, or you have to find what to call the height of collimation. See, so after obtaining the height of collimation, it means you have to subtract the staff reading of each point to get the stations or the legs readings. You see, So how are we going to calculate the height of collimation? So to get the height of collimation, you have to take the fixed point reading on the ground plus the first staff reading. The first staff reading. It means, by referring to our example right here, it means we have the fixed point reading on the ground shown by the benchmark. For instance, we have 100. It means that's the fixed point reading on the ground. The datum point is 100 meter. Then we have to plus the first staff reading. It means this is our first staff reading. Are we together? This is our first staff reading. And remember, because we have right here the this leveling instrument, it means this is backside and this one right here, as you can see, this one is our foresight. Are we together? This is foresight, this one is backside. This at the middle, this one, we call them the intermediate side. So right here, we take the first staff reading, which is this one at point A. It read 8 meter from the ground. It means, so to get the height of collimation, as I've said, you take the staff reading on the, the staff reading plus the fixed point reading on the ground. So you take 100 plus 80 meter. Then you get, plus 8 meter. Then you get 180 meter. So height of collimation, I can write in a short as HC, height of collimation, is equal to 108 meter. So to get the staff reading of each legs, it means to get the reduced level, the rise and fall in each leg, you have to subtract the staff reading of each point. So we take the height of collimation minus the staff reading of each point. It means you take 100, for instance, to get point B, the reduced level at point B. It means point B, you'll get, you take the height of collimation minus the staff reading of point B, which is 5. Are we together? Which is 5. Then it will give 103 meter. Then you go point C. You take the height of collimation minus 6. See, 180, which is the height of collimation minus the staff reading, which is 6 meter. Then 102 meter. Then you go to point D. Point D, 180 meter minus the staff reading of point B, which is 7 meter. So it will give 101 meter. You see? Then you go to point C. It means you take point D, point E. Point E, you take the height of collimation, which is 108 minus the staff reading of point E, which is 9. 108 meter minus 9 meter, which will get 99 meter. Then from there, you have to stop at point D. Remember, point B right now, it is the point B. There is 2 leveling staff reading. Not leveling staff. The speed level which read at point B. As you can see, we have this one, the first leveling instrument and the second leveling instrument. See, so the leveling instrument A, it read point. The leveling staff at point E, as well as the speed level B, it read the leveling staff at point E. So point E, we call it as changing point. So if you find the changing point, then at the changing point you have to find the new height of collimation. It means the second height of what? Of collimation. So how are we going to find the second height of collimation? If I explained earlier, it means we have to take the staff reading, which is 10, plus the fixed point reading on the ground, which right now is how much? Is 99. Are we together? It means if we find one staff reading, see, there are 2 spirit level which read 2, the single leveling staff. It means that staff or that point is known as what? The changing point. At the changing point, you have to find the new height of collimation. So by looking very careful at this diagram right here, as I said, we have the first spirit level which have read to this leveling staff, and we have the second spirit level, this one. It read this leveling staff. It means our leveling staff at point E, it is the changing point. So because this, it is a changing point, it means we have to find the new height of collimation. By doing what? By taking the 60-point reading on the ground at point E, which is 99 meter, plus the the staff reading of point E, which is 10 meter, to get the second height of collimation. So this, we call it the first height of collimation. So it means the second height of collimation, you will take this one, the staff reading, which is 99 meter, plus the staff reading at point E, which is 10 meter. So you get it is equal to 109 meter is the second height of collimation. Then to get point F, the reduced level at point F, then you take the height of collimation at this point, which is 109 minus 11. So as to know either there is rise or fall at point F. It means point F right here is equal to the height of collimation, which is 109 meter minus 11 meter, which will be equal to 98 meter. Are we together? Which will be equal to, which will be equal to 98 meter. Then from there, by summarizing, in this method of collimation, as I've said, you have to note the two important things or concepts. First, you have to find the height of collimation. Then after obtaining the height of collimation, to get the reduced level at each leg or station, it means you have to subtract the staff reading of each point. And how are you going to obtain or to get the height of collimation? It means we can obtain the height of collimation by taking the staff reading plus the 60-point reading on the ground. For instance, right here I have taken 100 meter plus 80 meter, which it is the staff reading. So 100 meter plus this one, you get 108 meter. That is our first height of collimation. Height of collimation. Then you subtract the staff reading of each point to get what calls the reduced level. And if you find a point where there is two split level, have read that leveling staff. For instance, at this point, as you can see, point E, we have this leveling staff. It reads this stuff, and we have this leveling staff. Split level. It reads this stuff right here. So at point E, we call it a changing point. So in whatever changing point that we may find during calculating your reduced level, you have to find the second height of collimation, as I did in our example. Are we together? So from right here, I want to make a simple summary of what I told you before, that we have what we call the back side and the foresight and the intermediate side. So what are these? Let me summarizing right here. Let's assume we have two levels. Simple. For instance, let's say this is, see, right here, it is the ground. So we have this. Then we have the spirit level right here. We have the spirit level right here. See? Something like this. Then after this, you find another spirit level or leveling instrument right here, etc. You see, as you can see right here, let me explain something. Let's say here it is 50 meter. This is point A. Then you have the readings. I want to explain what it is, how are we going to know this is back side, this is foresight. See, we have A and B. So listen to me very careful. We have the leveling instrument or the spirit level, this one. It read at point A. You see, point B, C, D, and E. So I want to explain which leveling staff it represents, for instance, the foresight. Which leveling staff it represents the backside. See? Or how are you going to know this is a backside while this is a foresight? So, as you can see right here, we have the spirit level. So assume we don't have this. This leveling staff at points B and C, we call them the intermediate side. The intermediate side. While the first staff reading, this one, the first staff reading, it has what calls the back side. You see? And then you go, if these two are intermediate sides readings, it means right here we have what calls the foresight. So these two, we call them the intermediate side. This one and this one. These are intermediate side, while this one is backside, this one is foresight. By considering the first spirit level. Then let's go to the second spirit level. It means we have the second spirit level, or the leveling instrument. It means right here, this spirit level, it read at point D, see? And it read also at point E. We don't have the intermediate side right here. We just have the back side at this point and the foresight at this point. Are we together? Because what I want to explain is, sometimes you may be asked, listen to me very careful, you may be given a question that you may be asked to find the reduced level. It means the rise and fall between point B up to E, and they may ask you to make what you call the leveling booking sheet. So in making the leveling booking sheet, we have to make sure that we show or we include both the back sides, the foresight, as well as the intermediate sides readings. So it's very important to know all of this. Thereafter, we have what we call the height of collimation as well as the reduced level. What we get right there from the other example, for instance, point B, it read maybe this one. Point C, we get this one. As you can see, we have 100, 100, 103, 102, 101, 99, 109. Then it rises, then it falls. All of this, we call them the reduced level. So in the leveling booking sheet, we will also show what we call the leveling, and what we call the reduced level. So I'm going to show the last example where we will be asked to represent data in the leveling booking sheet, as well as we'll be asked to find what we call the reduced level between a certain point to the last point. Are we together? Okay, let's see the last example in our session today. Okay, let's see the last question. As you can see, we have the question right here. We have the diagram drawn right here. And this is an example of sample questions. Remember, most of the sample questions given or provided or asked right now, most of them are competent questions. As you can see, we have given our sample question. We have the leveling profile, as you can see, and they ask you to calculate the reduced levels. They put data into the leveling booking sheet. It means we have to take the data from the leveling profile into the leveling booking sheet. So please, we use the collimation method to calculate what we call the reduced level. And what is the reduced level? This is the rise and fall between point B to point G. Are we together? It means the reduced level has the rise and fall between point B to G. Thereafter, we will see how to plot or to put data into the leveling booking sheet. So as I said earlier, that we have to use what we call the collimation method to calculate the reduced level. And by using the collimation method, we have to calculate what we call the height of collimation, or the collimation height. How are we going to calculate the height of collimation? It means we will take the first staff reading right here. As you can see, we have 50 meters plus the first staff reading, which is 8 meters. So we take 50 plus 80 to get what we call the height of collimation. Then from there, we will deduct. We will subtract the staff reading of each station to get the reduced level at each leg. So if we take 50 plus 8, it means we will get 58. Then 58 minus 6 to get the reading of at point B, it means we will get 52. 58 minus 5, we will get the reading at point C. Then we do the same to the other leveling stuff readings. Then remember, as I told you earlier about what we call the changing point. Then as you can see clearly right here, I know you'll be able to identify or to determine what it is, the changing point. As you can see, point E, this point right here, it is the changing point. Why? Because it has the leveling stuff which it is read by two spirit level. We have this, the first spirit level, it reads this leveling stuff, and we have the second spirit level, it reads this leveling stuff. So this point E, we call it the changing point. As I said earlier, that at the changing point we have to find what we call the new height of what? Of collimation. Okay, so by making summary or by showing how it is done, so we have to first calculate the height of collimation. Height of collimation. Are we together, class? Height of collimation, you see? So HC will get the fixed point reading on the ground, as I said, which is 50, plus the first stuff reading, which is 8. It means we will take 50 meter plus 80 meter. Then we will get 80 meter. It means this is our first, height of collimation. So we have to subtract, to reduce, to deduct the stuff reading of each point to get the reduced levels on each station or at each station. So to get the reduced level at point B, it means we take at point B. It means to take the height of collimation, 58 meter, minus the stuff reading at point C, which is 6 meter. So we get 52 meter. Then we go at point C. Point C, we take, it means 58 minus 5. See, 58 meter minus 5 meter. It means we will get 53 meter. Then at point D, right here at point D, it means we take 58 minus 4. 58 meter minus 4 meter. It means it's equal to 54 meter. Then you go to point E. It means 58 minus 6. Point E, 58 meter minus 60 meter. Then you'll get 52 meter. So remember, as I said earlier, point E, it is a changing point. So if you will find, or we will find the changing point, it means we have to find the another height of collimation. Do you remember? So right here, point E, we call it the changing point. The change point. It means at the changing point, it means you have to find the new height of what? Of collimation. You have to find the new height of collimation. So the second height of collimation, it means, let us call this the first height of collimation. It means we will find the new height of collimation, or the second height of collimation. Then we will take the fixed point reading on the ground, which is the fixed point reading at point E, which is 52. It means right here we will have 52 meter plus the fixed point, the staff readings. So 52 plus 10. So we take 52 meter plus 10, the staff reading. It means we will get 62 meters. This is our second height of collimation. So to get the staff reading at point F, it means, at point E, this is point E. At point F, it means we will take 62 minus 8. Are we together? Then it means point F, 62 meter minus 80 meter. This one, minus 8 meter. 62 minus 8, it means you will get is equal to 54 meter. This one. Then we'll go at point G. It means we will have to take the height of collimation minus 7, which is point G will be equal to 62 meter minus 7 meter. See, will give you 55 meters. So as I've explained earlier, what we get this, what we call the reduced level. Are we together? So reduced level, reduced levels. It means the rise and falls levels. Is explains this one. These are what we call the reduced level from the first one to the last one. Then from there, the last question, it asks us to put data into the leveling booking sheet. Okay, class? It means the question, the second question, it asked us to put data into the leveling booking sheet. So let's see how the leveling booking sheet is seen, okay? In leveling booking sheet, you have to have the following. In leveling booking sheet, you have to make sure you have the following. In leveling booking sheet, you have to make sure you have, can I write here? I'm sure you can be able to see the leveling booking sheet. It means, let's see, this is our leveling booking sheet, you see? Leveling booking sheet. So if this is our leveling booking sheet, we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful on this point right here. It means we have this column. See, this is leg. Leg means station. See, then we have the backside readings. It means we write right here. Then we have the intermediate side. The readings at the middle of the foresight and backside. Then we have the foresights. Okay. Then we have the height of collimation, this column right here. Then we have the reduced level. Reduced levels. Then we have the distances between stations. The distance between the stations. Please, as I said, you have to be very careful because it is simple. It means leg will refer to the station. See, A is a point A, B, C, D, etc. So it means we take leg as A, B. For instance, A, B. A to B, it's not a leg. A, it is the leg. A, B means the distance. As you can see at last here, we have the distance. A, B, it is the distance A to B. As you refer right here, the distance from A to B is 20 meter. So right, 20 meter. Then B, C. It means we have BC, CD. Then BC is how much? As you can see, BC is 18. So right here, 18 meter. CD, CD 30. It means we have 30 meter. Then you go DE is 10 altogether. Then DE, DE it is 10 meter. Then from there we have EF. EF, as you can see, it is 80 meter. This one, EF, it is 80 meter. So write 80 meter. Then EF, then FG. You see, FG is 50 meter. 50 meter. Are we together? I'm sure you can see right here. AB we refer to the distance from A to B. But the leg, we are talking about the station. It means I'm talking about A, B, C, D, E, F. This is our stations, okay? So how are we going to write the data? It means we have to make sure we insert where there is backside, we write at each station. For where there is intermediate site, we write which station there is intermediate site. Are we together? So by looking careful to profile right here, we know at point A, we have the backside. Then at point D, at point F, we have the foresight. So remember this one. This one is our backside. This one is intermediate side. As I said, the readings between the foresight and the backside, we call them the intermediate sides. These are intermediate sides. You see, this one, be careful. This one is what calls this one. This one is our foresight by considering this spirit level right here. Then from there we have the second spirit level. So by using the second spirit level, it means this chain right here, this one is our backside, okay, by using this spirit level. While this one is the intermediate sides, this one is our foresight. Are we together? So it's easy like that. It means at point A we have the backside, which is 8. So you write there. It means at point A we have backside, which is 8. This is point A, we have backside, you write it 8. Are we together? Then from there, intermediate side at point A, we don't have. Foresight at point A, we don't have. Height of collimation at point A, we have. We take 50 plus this one. It is at point A. Then we write 58. The first height of collimation is at point A, which is 58. We've seen there. Then from there, we go on reduce the level at point A. It is 50. It was there. So you write 50. This is our first reduced level. Then we go to point B. Point B, backside, we don't have. Backside, we have the intermediate site at point B, C, and D. So intermediate site at point B is how much? Is 6. So intermediate site point B, 5, this one, 4. See, 4. Then you find at point E, we have the foresight. It means this is our point D. Point E right there, we have the foresight. So you write the foresight point at point E, which is equal to 6. You write here 6. Are we together? Then from there you go. At point E, we have the foresight. Then at point E, the same, we have the backside, which is 10. So you go at point E, we have the backside right here. So you write that here at point E, 10. We have the backside, this one, which is 10. It's really at point E. Then point F, we have the intermediate side, which is 8. It means point F, we have the intermediate side, which is 8. You write there, 8. You see? Then you go at point G. It means there is point G right here. G, we have the foresight. The foresight is a point G, which is how much? Which is 7. So this is foresight. You write right here, 7, which is a point at point G. Remember, this is 8 is at point F. This 8 is right here. Then this is point G, right here at point G. Then from there, you go back, you check if there are intermediate side. We have inserted the backside at each point. As you can see, backside is right here. Then we have another backside right here. It is right here at point A. In point E, as you can see, we have the foresight at point E. You see, the foresight at here at point E, and the foresight at point G. As you can see, at point E, this one is 6. Is the foresight at point G is this one, 7. Then we have the intermediate site at each point. Then from there, you have to write the reduced level at each point. Are you together? You have to write the reduced level at each point. We have seen at point A we have 50 meter. It means at point C, at point B, we have calculated there at each point. So we have to insert at point B 52. It means 52 meter. At point C we go 53. 53 meter. Point C is this one, 53 meter. Point D 54 meter. Point E, this one, 52 meter. 52 meter. Then F 54. This one is F 54 meter. Thereafter we have G. G, where's G? This one, 55 what? Meter. Are you together? So this is what we call the leveling booking sheet. Leveling booking sheet. See? So class, this is how, you have to be very careful. There is no hard calculations you have seen. I did not use logarithm. I didn't use in the mathematical sound. I have just used the arithmetics, the plus and minus. Are we together? Then from there, this is our leveling booking sheet, as I told you. So if we want to prove maybe you are correct, you have entered data correctly into a leveling booking sheet, you have to take the summation of backside should be equal to the last reduced level minus the first reduced level. Are we together? It means the summation of backside, this one, you take this one plus this one minus the summation of foresight, which is this one plus this one. This one plus this one is 18. this one plus this one is 13. So if you take 18 minus 13, you will get 5. Should be equal to the summation of the last, the difference of the last reduced level and the first reduced level. So if you take 55, this one is the last reduced level minus the first reduced level. So you take 55 minus 50, you get 5 meters. So you get this side is equal to the last side. Then we say this is the correct leveling booking sheet. Okay, so you are most welcome. As I've said, survey is simple. As I've explained from the previous up to this point, what I can say to you is to take notes as long as it is very important, and make sure I do as long as many as questions that you can be found somewhere, especially those nectar questions. And remember right now, we will base on competent questions, if I explained right here. So let's take here as our end of our session. Until the next time, have a nice day. Thank you very much.